Welcome back, butter enjoyers. The pans are hot, the grease is ready. It's 1Dip versus 100 Gorillas taking on a sizzling Twisted Minds. Thank you, production. This is going to be our second match of the week, and it will be cast once again by Jake and Matt. You guys are lucky with your series.
Second match of the week, so this is the second match of the day.
Match of the day, weeks, months. What
time is a flat circle.
Time, right? It really isn't, yeah. But yes, sure. Either way, I'm ready for the game, is all I'm saying. And I'm ready for the team. So let's dig in and let's talk about them. Starting with the 1Dip versus 100 Gorillas roster. They lost against Gen G just, what was that? Last week? Yesterday? Again, time. What is it really? But their Runa Zapi versus Gen G. That's the one I want to focus on because they played that Diva comp. We know Willis is a fantastic Diva, but specifically on that very map, in that very game, their coordination looked superb. They were so on the same page. They worked the neutral. It was just a really, really good look, and I want to see more of that today.
Oh. Yeah, this is I think the roster a little off, but oh wait, no, it's not. Mbappe gang. It is Zidra. Why did I think it was not Zidra? But Willis, the GOAT, has been actually impressing the hell out of me. Like, looking really solid for this team, and the rest of the team has been coming together. They've been playing very aggressive. Like, you look at this team, like, it's easy to write them off against TM, but I think this won't be easy, especially if TM is a little tilted from yesterday.
Well, last week they missed Willie, so it was a little bit of a rough week. I think they only had one game, but now that he's back in the lineup, I think you're going to see more of the normal performances from this team.
That's right. Now they are going up against Twisted Minds, who are just coming off of a banger of a series yesterday, treating us to the first draw of the season, of the year. I don't think we had one last year, so let's just say 2 years. We did have Psycho in an interview after that match, and he did say that he hoped, he's a little disappointed rather, that it wasn't a more convincing clean 3-0. He really thought that they got it. And he's rightfully very confident about their team's performance because just across the board, I mean, they can shoot, right? Even in the backline, like Simple has been an absolute menace. It's been a very dominant performance overall. But yesterday, we thought they were gonna tilt off the planet of Earth. Like Silent comes, then somehow they came back. They brought in Juby, like this sub of a lifetime for map 6, who's busting out that sim. Like that was an insane match.
New Twisted Minds, new year. You know, no longer tilting off the face of the earth. They have figured it out. You know, even if you're a little silent in the comms, doesn't mean you're angry. And I think with Quartz,
silent comms are clean comms. That's how I see it.
That's
Let's
true.
see if they can get it done here against 1Dip. Jake is not convinced. Well, Jake, walk us through the map set and share your thoughts.
Jake's also not convinced on Moira, who's clearly elite at the moment.
That's
clearly meta. Clearly meta.
Wild.
Moira remains unite. Matt, we're gonna have to take this one away. It is gonna be 1D 100G versus TM, and TM opening with a Lucio ban. Ooh. Kind of wild, no? Like this is, I mean, this is Funny Astro we're talking about. He's gonna ban Lucio. I guess it's sort of a support protect. Maybe they won't use the Lucio ban on other maps, but they want to ensure that they could play like an on a break here. In 1D 100G, you're gonna respond with the ball ban, but it's interesting because I kind of would have thought Winston or Hazard would have been the stronger, more typical choice on this map.
Just the fact though that you ban the Lucio off the rip there from TM is quite wild, right? You know, you have Funny Astro on the team, you ban Lucio. I mean, that's something you would have never thought to potentially see. But Funny Astro also has a really strong Brig, so potentially kind of eyeing that, you know, Brig into Diva matchup.
Well, we'll have to see how things end up going down on the server. Anything's possible. Simple on the Zen. It's kind of a nasty map for the Zen, and Simple kind of clean with it. However, Zidra and Dip, Willis, man, these guys have been really good at punishing some of these greedier comps. They've been really hitting these fast tempo plays and convincing me.
Yeah, but let's see if they can do it against TM, who is one of the best in the region. I think clearly up there with Alcatia. You know, for that top spot, as they're gonna play the Zen Brig here. So really an all-in pretty greedy comp here from Twisted Minds.
Yeah, but you do a lot of damage on Zen. I mean, Simple's the right camp to watch. Quartz already killed that Suki. Hold on, somehow with the burst damage, Twisted Minds This is an angry team right now, bringing the heat on fight one. That is absurd to be killing the Brig off the rip like that.
Well, I think for Twisted Minds, they want to show that although they end up losing to OWCS in a really close 5-game affair, like, they can play at that level. They are one of the best, you know, and should be considered the biggest threat to OWCS in EMEA. So when you have Psycho in, right, you have a fantastic Tracer look. When they can sub in Yubi, you have like the Sim and all the different heroes. I mean, he can play some Tracer as well. Just a really dynamic lineup. And then also, like, we talk about so many of the other players, right? Like, Quartz is still an insane hit scan player, right? Especially now on the Freya.
And this is a tough one for 1D100G. They've got to deal with the Zen, but so far the distance has just looked impossible for them to cross. Here's Willis starting to walk out wide, getting close. Nice boot by Funny Astro, but that opens the door for Willis to slide in, getting close to that backline. Discord gonna dissuade him for the moment. And these Twisted Mind Sports are keeping the space now, taking the fight back to Willis, who's forced off the angle, and Simple is just doing monster damage this whole time. You gotta remember, Zen is that here you cannot win a long fight against in this matchup. However, TVNT running low on the heels. However, Psycho gets one. Willis quickly eats that pulse bomb, gonna protect his mech, but I mean, it's just like Twisted Minds look unbreakable in this setup.
It protects his mech, but he's still like dangerously low and has to back up, and they lose Dip here. Too simple as Dip trying to make a play for that Zen is a pretty easy target potentially for a Tracer, but the Brig and D.Va there to help. And this has been dominant from Twisted Mind so far, 70% on the point and counting. You have this Transcendence potentially to use when that like Orbital Ray comes on through. You're gonna have a rally here soon as well. So just a dominant showing here as 1DipVS100Gorillas can barely get near the point.
Wait, the flying Zen perk goes kind of crazy on this map, actually. There's a lot of high grounds you can kind of get to with that. Imagine like Zen going top left here on his high ground. If he gets dove, he could kite away like that. And I mean, just this is scary on the walk-up. Here's the Orbital Ray right out of the gate. Just forces the Transcendence out, and this is a very strong counter for TM. They can take the fight really back in aggressivity. TM and TVNT's dropping low. The self-destruct zoning away the backline. Funny has to force the rally as well. Natsuki rallying, trying to keep this fight alive, but Johan being chased down. Both supports gone. Simple does fall in the chaos, but TVNT still has that self-destruct, has a big advantage, taking that 1v1 straight to the enemy mech, drops the bomb aggressively on the point. Zidra, bullish shot on the Quartz, though, makes this just possible for 1D100G. Funny Astro takes some shots of his own and gets cut down. Zidra making it happen, and the touch just barely comes in time, but TVNT, he's healthy. He wants to close this one out, does not want to give the flip back. Simple getting back to the engagement, and this whole time, Psycho has just been cutting up the competition.
Well, there's so much focus from 1DipVS100Gorillas trying to make a play on a Simple, and we see it time and time again. And Twisted Mind's able to keep him up for an extended period of time. That allows Psycho to just run, all over the opposing team's backline. It allows Quartz to get some easy shots at range. And then all these players who are diving Simple, they're just leaving extremely low. I mean, you see the amount of damage that Simple's put out here off the rip, 2,400 damage. I mean, that's more than Dip on the other side, right? That is a wild amount of damage coming from a support.
Yeah, Zen in these comps is such a problem. You like must kill the Zen, but then you got Funny Astro like perma bodyguarding him. You've got the rest of the team is always assaulting you on the walk-up. So like if you do you can't just full send on the Zen, right? Or you're just gonna get punished too brutally. Taking that space away is not easy, and this floating Zen perk has like completely changed the nature of the map for Zen. He's able to play all these interesting positions, takes the fight straight to the Tracer. Beautiful shots from Simple. This is rough. I mean, this Tracer, Dip just cannot get into the action, and now Simple continuing to push this threat. Funny Astro, Psycho, get the cleanup off the advantage Simple already created. 1D100G, they're close to the point, but they're a long way from actually capping this one out. Funny Astro immediately there to peel Quartz in the back line. This looks like an overextension from Willis, the Discord, enough to break that suit. Cap comes in from Twisted Minds, and his team is back with a vengeance. Yesterday, it was sloppy, it was inconsistent, they looked uncoordinated. This is a team with a new breath of life in them.
Well, I mean, considering the amount of damage that Simple's also adding to the mix, it's like almost impossible for 1DipVS100Gorillas to kind of like battle it kind of with how they're trying to play, right? And you see Funny Astro do a great job, using some of those packs to keep like TVNT and Quartz alive, right? Peel for the rest of the team. But now that you have some of this high ground control for Twisted Minds, you think their comp becomes even stronger. You see Willies has to use that defense matrix just trying to get these players across without them taking major damage, and Zydra already very low.
Zen is top point. This is crazy, man. How do you do it? Zen can just take any rotation he wants. This is so sick, actually. dude, this is like, I gotta use this in my rank games. This goes crazy hard.
And then he just flies to the other high ground.
Exactly. He can literally take any rotation he wants on the map. This perk is crazy, actually. And I mean, Zen has always been sort of decent on Ilios, but I mean, this is
look at the
totally
look at the
he could play
movement tag.
over the top left, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of like gets up on that sign there to give him a little bit of an extra boost, because like it's not necessarily like, it's a little bit of a lift, right? But like, it's not like you just kind of hold the space bar and go just soaring through the sky, right? It kind of keeps you like levitating on the same plane, but
yeah,
you can kind of like
that's
get a
perfect
little bit over things. Yeah,
to cross to the high ground, that's pretty much exactly what you need. You're all out of cooldowns here. Zidra full committed on this flank, stuck by a couple shots of damage. Psycho with the cleanup. Tracer so enabled in this comp with the Zen over the backline. I mean, 1D100G, just nothing happening for them in this game. This is one of the most severe beatdowns I have ever seen. Like, there has not been one close fight in this map, and the map is over. Like,
I'm fascinated
this
to see
is done.
the score line after this in terms of like a kill.
Do we have an Infinity KD? It's not quite Infinity, but if it is Deathless, do we count that as Infinity?
I mean, yeah, potentially. And I think that's what you go with.
There was
and,
a couple deaths.
nobody.
There was a couple deaths this game.
Nobody
literally,
touches. Okay.
Literally a couple deaths. 3 deaths on the side of Twisted Minds across the whole COD map.
Yeah, we've had some games. We had some games this morning, man. I mean, that one just kind of ends in a whimper. Nobody gets near the point.
The whole thing was a whimper, man. There wasn't anything but whimpering.
Yeah, that was Twisted Minds kind of asserting, their style of play on 1Dip versus 100 Gorillas. As that was ugly. I mean, we had some ugly games in the last series, but this one might actually have been worse. Just because like it never felt like
it doesn't get worse. It doesn't. I mean, you didn't.
They were nowhere close.
It gets worse if you got 2 or 1 kills. Could have been worse.
That was a sick shot there from Simple.
Yeah, I mean, Simple's just terrorizing the lobby, man. Like, at some point, he just goes Terminator mode, and he, like, stops even kiting. He just starts, like, Wing into you. He's like, no, we have enough HP to win. I'm going to be Wing on you now. And you just can't punish that. You are in serious trouble. And, I mean, I feel like this is TM kind of rising to the moment. We've got all these teams playing Cassidy. We got, like, Moira being played. I mean, teams are realizing, like, you know what? In this era of Overwatch with the ban fades, there's a lot more to be said about comfort picks. I think for years, fans have always said, okay, why don't you guys play the comfort picks? But prior to hero bans, trust me, guys, it was rough trying to not play the meta. It was real bad. And when a team had perfected the meta and played one comp for a month or 2 months, they got so insanely good at it, you just couldn't counter. But with bans, it's just not an option anymore. You have to flex. And so these players bringing out their specialist comfort heroes, they're really shining in this day and age.
It definitely makes a lot of different niche comps more viable in terms of what teams like can potentially do, right? Especially because every series is different with bans, right? You're kind of like targeting banning other teams or trying to force like different maps and bans through the pipeline. But if you're Dip, I mean, I don't know what you do after that one. I mean, you just kind of pretend it didn't exist and just kind of move forward. We do have a sub for the next map, so it'll be KSA in for TVNT for Twisted Minds. And I believe that is because the map choice here by Dip is going to be Circuit. So it'll be Circuit. Potentially, you want to play, some D.Va, maybe even like Sigma potentially here. If you're Dip, we've seen Willis do that a few times.
It's interesting because I think because this is 1D100G's pick, you can't really put in Yubi because you're vulnerable to the opening sim ban. Yeah. So Twisted Minds, despite how good the sim was last time, I don't think we will see it here just because they have to be too scared of that ban threat to put Yubi in.
Well, because we've seen Alcacia run the sim here with like Sim D.Va, and it's looked awesome. Being able to kind of get that D.Va in like different positions and force high ground without actually using fly and saving all the defense matrix and things along those lines. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of an easier read against this team where if they do end up kind of bringing in Yubi, that the sim is going to be the primary reason why.
Yeah, and so it's probably going to be Psycho playing, but it's okay. Oh no, we made Psycho play another map. Right. Oh, it's a good progress. Like this team is so sick. They have really strong looks across any roster on any map, and so KSA coming in maybe to play some of these more stable frontliners where TVNT looks to be in on some more dynamic maps. It's sometimes hard to read exactly why they bring one or the other in. DVG are going to be opening with the Iliari ban. I mean, fair, honestly. Like with what Simple's been doing on some of these aim heroes, maybe it's just not one you want to worry about. And TM responsive Genji ban is interesting here. So I guess that makes sense, right? Because in the last series you saw from 1D100G, they looked really good with the Genji comps, right? Like enabling the Genji to get dash resets ended up being a really potent force for them. And it, you know, is makes it really hard to play these super fast tempo comps without Genji. I think the other option is Sim if DVG want to go for that, but do they have Sim in their wheelhouse? It's not an easy comp to pick up and play. It's when you need a comfortable pilot on the Sim and you need a team that really understands how to leverage the most from the TP and the Sim wall.
Yeah, and I don't think that TM really wants to play Genji with Psycho in the mix, so getting rid of the Genji I think just kind of works out, right? It's not necessarily a tracer map, so I'm curious what they decide to go with.
Maybe like a Pharah look here, right? Like
yeah,
the BAP Pharah is very available right now. Maybe like a little life Weaver. Any Weaver believers?
You could play some Weaver here with the Pharah. You could, I think also like Psycho can probably play some Sim, right? I don't think that's like completely off the table potentially for TM. So this is not going to be an easy series for Dip versus 100 Gorillas, where they actually got off to a really good start in the stage, but they've started to you know, once teams have realized like they can't just kind of take them lightly, they have to kind of game plan for them. I think their performance has kind of come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, and this is Twisted Minds, right? As much as last match that we saw them in was super close against VP, number one, that was VP. Number two, that's probably an underperformance from Twisted Minds. Like, this is the one team that played Al-Qatsiyah to map 5. This is really that team that is just nipping at the heels of the number one team in the region. So in the end, 1D100G, this is a really uphill battle for them. And this is also Twisted Minds that has been woken up. I feel like that close game against VP is a wake-up call. No matter how good you've been doing in scrims, this is that reminder that like you need to lock in these matches. And Simple's just like, I'm playing Zen, bro. You can't stop me. And honestly, without Genji, I kind of like that look. I feel like you might get away with playing the Zen. Like, how do you punish Zen without Genji? Tracer kind of sucks on this map. Genji really is the high tempo hero. And Zen is even kind of okay against the Sim sometimes.
Right? I mean, the interesting thing about playing, you know, with no Genji, right? Like trying to cross this space, it's very difficult for flankers. So like it's not a great tracer map. So it definitely opens up. Simple just deletes Johan right off the rip there. A volley of war. But Willie's okay. So I was like, there's no way you play the ball here. He'll play the Ramatra. So what this is gonna allow? This should allow the Sim to just kind of Zen to just kind of farm across the map.
Yeah, the Ana and the nade is going to make Trance a pretty unreliable skill. However, you're very right. Like when it comes to the pure poke trade, man, Zen is going to just be eating good here, especially someone as solid as Simple. Dip, looking to wall off the Ramatra. KSA going to be vulnerable, has to block it up in the corner, takes a nade as well, but he's so tanky on that Ram. The defensive Maywall there, counters from Psycho, buys time for KSA to get healed up. And in the end, it's a little bit of a throwaway fight. Twisted Minds really always intended to play this corner. This tends to be how the meta plays out. And this is going to be the more challenging spot to break for 1D100G. Thinking that Suki maybe is the one to open it up with a nice nade or some sort of aggressive play.
It's and everybody's just kind of playing around this corner, right? And Psycho, like we talked about in the pregame, playing the Mei potentially was an option, and then ends up taking out Dip, where the amount of bursts coming out from Twisted Minds at this corner is going to be so difficult for 1Dip to deal with. Quartz just coming over the top here, just put some explosive shots in people. I mean, just finishing off Natsuki is, I mean, this is a few fights in a row that have just been dominated here by Twisted Minds.
I love the way Psycho's playing the Mei matchup, by the way. He's always going for the second wall because he knows, you know, 1D100G with this on it, they need to open with walls, they need to isolate KSA. Psycho just responds with the defensive wall that buys enough time, and once the nade and the sleeve wear off, Zen is doing infinitely more in these long fights. So Willis is going to go over to the Diva to try and maybe change that story and get deeper onto the backline, maybe move past the Ramatra. It's going to make KSA a bigger problem, and not to mention Quartz in the sky at this long angle. You played the Diva to get on top of the Zen, but I don't know if Diva's going to be able to get it done alone. She's sent packing out in the flank, and 1D100G just no purchase in the map so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've not been able to get close, right? And even now, Twisted Minds pushing up past that corner, right? Playing over by that payload, just kind of like poking a little bit more here. KSA's got to be careful, though, actually. Gets hit with a bio nade there pops that Nemesis form just to be able to kind of make sure that he ends up living. I think you probably back up here if you're Twisted Minds. You have some of these players playing very close. As I old KSA
Sleep and roll, no cooldowns.
Get punished for playing that close. Maywall comes through, not able to get around it.
TM are going to fight this one out, though. They have a lot of ultimates. Psycho on the cart with the Mail. The Blizzard is big, though. I don't know if Psycho's going to be able to escape this. Does get frozen here on the cart. Is going to be cleaned up. Funny Astro as well fell. And in the end, Twisted Minds only threw the bola shot into that. But 1D100G also play it tight here, only dropping the Blizzard for their own recontest. KSA is back, though, and he's backed up by double support ult. Trance could be massive. Natsuki really needs to hit a game-changing nade right here. They need to nade and kill through support ult. It's the only way they win this fight. Natsuki under a lot of pressure. Zidra maybe could open things up to force those portals early. Here's the Trance coming out already from Simple. Nade is on KSA, but he's so healthy. I don't see them bursting through this target. Psycho with the Blizzard as well. Dip is frozen, and yeah, even the orbital ray is not going to be enough. D.Va isolated from the team, using every drop of Matrix, trying to keep this one going. Quartz does get traded, but I mean, this could be a pretty heavy delay on Willis as well. Simple just gives him a headshot just to let him think about it. Zidra with 2. Hold on, it's getting a little sketchy here. You want to make sure you clean this one out. It's just KSA and Simple, but you have got just too much taking. It's too much damage between the two of them.
And now you're below 25 seconds here. 1Dip has basically used every ultimate that is somewhat impactful, right? You're going to have a self-destruct to get another mech back, but Quartz is going to have a bola shot, and then you're going to be walking into this annihilation. An absolutely brutal scenario here as Twisted Minds looking for a first point hold.
Yeah, let's see TM get this one done. Annihilation is massive. He's going to be able to send it straight to the backline here. He's all alone, but he's got that cooldown reset with the ulti. It's going to be a problem in the C9. Oof.
Look, you know, sometimes you're not able to touch.
That was a rough C9, though. That was like a true, like they were 5 up, bro. Like, I'm sorry. But
they were far, though. They were far.
Surely.
They were far. You know,
somebody could have gone Tracer. Somebody, like...
It's Sunday. Give them a break. Give them a break. It's Sunday.
C9,
it's Sunday. Everybody's
the number one guy to give a break to a team C9ing.
Nah,
this is like D.Va doing this wide. D.Va playing out wide. Okay, that's the thing. I think once D.Va went wide, it was actually Jover. But maybe
I mean,
Willis would have just died on the cart, in fairness.
Yes, he would have just had to run straight through the annihilation and then self-destruct on the cart. He probably would have died anyway.
Yeah, so in the end, look, they're not going to win the fight anyway. It probably doesn't change anything. Still, just emotional damage.
Bro, Hugo's going wild today. I mean, these games in the EMEA have got him just, you know, on another level. He is just popping off. You know, it could be these games and how entertaining they are. It could be the neighbor who has turned on their sprinkler. That's also a possibility. Let's take a listen, though, to Twisted Minds, see what their vibes are like, as they're kind of rolling over 1Dip versus 100 Gorillas.
Weaver some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... We just play our same comp, it doesn't matter.
You want me to kill someone?
Yes,
Yep.
please. Like yesterday on Dorado.
Alright, brother.
And just push out to the corner. They have D.Va.
D.Va May.
It's fine. Just push to the corner, then we can peek with shield, okay?
I will get a kill here,
Good.
okay? Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna peek with a
Bring in
second. Ready
4.
with shield. 3, 2, 1 peek of shield. Okay, they're backing up. Just push point. They're already giving us the whole map.
May.
Yeah, nice.
Can you hear me us?
You can catch him.
Shield and 4, okay? We can peek again with shield, okay? Ready? Wait till the card gets to the corner. Wait.
Yeah.
Just
Very
wait.
low.
Ready? We can peek together. 3, 2, 1 peeking. Shield, D.Va above us.
Sigma. This guy's
I think he's
Sigma.
swap off.
I'm bomb.
D.Va.
Sorry.
D.Va. I'm shooting D.Va with this cycle, but I'm backing up.
D1.
Shielding a cycle.
You guys kill him. You're living?
I'm walking up here before.
Yeah, we're all living.
Okay. Good job.
I don't know, sleep.
May low.
I have first beam,
We have fastest whales in the game, by the way.
Okay.
All right, Twisted Minds running it down. Psycho got a ton of ult farm in that fight. See if Zidra can find some more picks, though, to open it up. He's over the top. Big bola shot into the back line. KSA, though, has the tankiness to tolerate that, even under the threat of the nade from Natsuki. And now Twisted Minds, it's their turn to clap back. Instant May ulti. Blizzard pop from Psycho, zoning everyone away. May caught Dip in the corner. Is going to be frozen behind that wall. Cleaned up. Willis is low as well. Been dealt with in the back line. Now Psycho swings wide. And these last players, 4-1-D100G, playing off the edge of the map, just trying to float away. But Twisted Minds give them no quarter. And 1D100G are going to be going down 2-0 in the series. I don't see the Sim making the touch here. even with the TP. Maybe Willis can get one second. I mean, Simple is emoting, so there's a chance.
Yeah,
but-
no, there's no shot. I was like gonna say, I was like, oh, maybe there's a world. Like, can you get a Tracer over there to potentially touch? But no, not in the cards. Look, we wanted the Ultimates to have like this type of performance, I think, against Frostales, but Twisted Minds showing here against Dip that there are most certainly levels within the echelon of EMEA.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone looking solid. The communication seeming a lot tighter today. Feels like they were able to put that match yesterday behind them. The fact that they're able to come away with the win is like, you know what? No matter how crazy or chaotic that series was, you came away with the win in the end. You pulled it together, whether it was through raw mechanics or that like final burst of teamwork on Circle Royale. Now you're up 2-0 rather over DVG.
Well,
all is right in the world. All is right in the world. This is exactly what you expected this match for TM.
And what do you do if you're even DVG? Like, are you gonna try and like, could you pay
Moira May.
Moira
what was your hero? Moira
Sim.
That's the answer, Matt.
Can you play like a flashpoint and maybe you feel like that the Zen is not as viable there, right? Otherwise, what you're going to have to pick like, I mean, a map and then ban Zen. I mean, that feels pretty bad, right? That leaves so many.
Hybrid is too scary to contemplate, right? Hybrid is just like front to backing against Simple. I don't like it at all.
It is
I think
the
you're right
EMEA
with
though. We could play
It's
King's Row.
flashpoint or push, right? Surely it's flashpoint or push. I'm with you on that.
You would
It's
think
wherever
so.
you think like the dynamism is the best. I mean, DVG, I kind of want to see them. I mean, like the Genji is now available, right? So I kind of want to see them go back to the Genji style. That's where they looked solid against Genji, where they put up some impressive fights, was off the back of the team fight coordinated aggression. However, Twisted Minds, that's also where they cut their teeth, is on that kind of a comp. Like they are really happy to take that mirror. I still think it's your best chance for DVG.
Well, you imagine, right? If you pick like Runasapi, for instance, like you may not have to ban like a Zen, but then you're going to allow Funny Asher to play like Lucio. You're going to play like a fast Lucio style comp. So they actually go with New Junk City Flashpoint. I'm curious if they feel
too good of a Tracer map for Psycho. I think it's like
That's true.
He's doing too much on the Tracer.
I'm curious, do they feel the need to ban like a Genji? A Zen here. Because the Zen on
I
Simple
hope
has
not.
been...
This is a rough map, but Simple has been doing the most on maps that
Well,
I mean,
what
Zen was
was
out of the meta for a long
You're not
time.
going to play like Zen Lucio here, right? I
It would
mean,
probably be like a Zen Brig or.
with no speed. I mean,
But that's you're right. It's a yikes. It's a yikes. I feel like you just can't play. This map is very close quarters. A lot
do
of
you ban-
hard corners.
So they leave in KSA. Do you ban Ramatra?
You could, but I mean, it's like KSA is like he's just gonna go Orisa. He's gonna go. I mean, or like the Zarya even. Honestly, with
Right.
Ramband, I think that's actually even scarier because I think the Zarya starts to look really good with Ramband. Like maybe Zarya is the meta with Ramband.
What do you do if you're DVG? I mean, this is a. I mean,
Actually,
you don't have
I
like clear.
I think you might need to ban Zarya. I feel like Zarya. Maybe the Ram is okay as a counter, but Zarya crushes Genji in the matchup. You just bubble Genji's dive target. You grab him in the blade. You just shoot him with your left click. You can't do anything. I mean, it's a really bad matchup for
Guess what?
Genji.
DVG has banned Ball, and then they've also banned the Alari with their first pick in the last one, which could have been more of like a protect at times as well for like the support category, but. There's not. They're gonna have to allow something, right?
Yeah, I'm not
DVG
sure. I don't know if the tank is the ban, right? I may honestly.
Okay.
Maybe you ban Tracer.
Okay, so they DVG bans Tracer,
Okay.
and then TM on the flip side bans Diva.
How do I get it every time, Matt? I'm just built different. I'm just built different.
Yeah, you're just
My pred rate is too high on these bans.
you're just
The Tracer. I mean,
one
Psycho has
with the
been doing.
bans pit phase.
Psycho's been doing so much, and although it's not
Yeah.
a good Zen map, it is still a very good Tracer map. And then this is going to make the game, I think, much more firmly a Genji game. Although there is the risk of the May could still be good on Zen. Like mid fight, May seems kind of good to me.
Play like a May with like the Ram, right, and just kind of run them down. But this also like Willis has played mostly Diva, right? I mean, we've seen a little bit of like the Orisa, but
Yeah.
I would say strongly,
And they look best on the Diva.
Yeah, the Diva is the best hero. Now you're forced to play a Rush style against a team who is like fantastic at Rush.
I'm telling you, the Giga Brain ban from TM would be ban Ram and then just spam Zarya. I don't think you can beat Zarya in this. I think Zarya would be the meta with these bans on this map.
Even with like a
Maybe
Orisa
I'm
in the
missing
mix.
something, but yeah, because I think Zarya beats Orisa actually. I think it's a good matchup for Zarya because you just like AFK shoot the Orisa and the Orisa like can't quite run past you and can't damage trade with you if you get high energy on Zarya. You just like slowly chop her up. You can like left click through the spin. You can you know, just pump a lot of damage. You can't. I mean, the grab is not that good against Orisa, but
like we're almost like through this series, which is insane. I mean, it feels like it just began, and now we're already sitting at like, I know this the first map. Ilios goes so fast. I mean,
that was like world record speed run on Ilios, and then a full hold, the first point on Circuit. He doesn't get faster than this. We're going to Flashpoint, which I gotta warn you, Maz, one of the fastest map types if you win 3-0.
Dude, and then we didn't even talk about it. Like, do you play the Maga here? I mean, we haven't seen Maga really as
playing
much.
Maga, but
yeah,
this is a good Maga map. Like, if there was a place to play Maga, it would be here. And I mean, the Kiri Juno has been a staple for TM. It's one that they've really brought to the forefront in terms of the support comps. Very greedy option, but it creates a lot of opportunities for like individualistic flanking. KSA going to keep it more straightforward with the Ram mirror though.
They're going to still play the sim though, so that's kind of a little bit of an advantage, right? In terms of like ramping up that damage, it's really just about if you can keep that sim alive, right? The sim is such a glass cannon. If you can keep the sim up, you're at such a major disadvantage. Willies decides to just run right on in, and yeah, Quartz takes care of business.
It's actually so big. I think Sim is insanely good in this mirror match. And on top of that, I mean, if Psycho can pull out the Sim, this makes Twisted Minds a much scarier prospect when it comes to playoffs because it really makes them less predictable, right? I would have said, okay, maybe if you bring Yubi in every time you play Sim, it kind of makes things more predictable. The other team knows what's coming. But with Psycho on the field, man, if the Sim is coming out, you don't know what to expect coming to mid-fight.
Really, it makes them very difficult to game plan against, and already they're not the easiest. What do you think about the hazard swap here? So I think obviously you're going to be able to dive a little bit easier with Dip, but I feel like you're just going to get chunked down.
I mean, Sim is another hero like Zen. It's like you have to kill the Sim. That's her weakness, is that she's vulnerable to that type of super aggressive push. And so I see the hazard and the double speed as part of that. However, KSA is going to be immovable. I don't think you're ever killing this Ram with this amount of heals being pumped into him. Maybe if you isolate him, get him away from his teammates, though. He does need those heals constantly coming in to sustain. Quartz trying to bully, using his own health bar here to threaten back the hazard, and KSA in the meantime finds Dip. He's low on the CDs, but he's playing his shields immaculately, and it's a really nice survival from KSA to be isolated alone and still staying alive and staying a threat.
I mean, he's playing his shield really well, obviously holding on to his Nemesis form. Then also, as players for 1Dip are trying to like move through the chokes, he's using those vortexes to just obviously not to kind of grab them out of the sky, but just to slow them down. And then once they're kind of like in his face, and then you also have the Sim there, I mean, there's no way any of those characters stuck inside that Ravenous Vortex are surviving. So that's already a first point here for 1Dip, as you see that Vortex gets dropped down, and then he just puts the shield there, being able to kind of free farm through it as all the Sim turrets set up there on that right hand side, and Dip takes a little bit of damage from them and then just backs off completely.
All right, Twisted Minds. Sim is a little bit more awkward, a little bit more wide open on this point. Opening bullet shot from Zidra does some damage, but it's being healed up. Kitsune Rush now deployed from Simple. They need to pull up heals. Psycho maybe being left out alone, but despite being on low HP, he TPs out, gets healed up. Support ults being traded from both sides. The Twisted Minds starting to build up that energy. Here's the orbital ray from Funny Astro, and that should just be too much. Psycho takes some damage, but everyone has to full kite from 1D100G. Blade comes in, full desperation from Dip, but it's not enough. The beat just a little bit off sync though, but maybe 1D100G following in Dip's footsteps. Getting this one done. KSA ulting though wins the tank trade, and he's healthy with double support on point. I just don't see you winning this for 1D100G. They've got to collapse on supports, which, well, hold on. Funny Astro's down. They're evading KSA really nicely. Zidra dances very cleanly in that fight, and they're able to clutch it out. Big picks on the supports, and some more coming in. Zidra, okay.
Yeah, they just completely dodge KSA, right? He's on the point with both supports. They're actually able to kind of get around him, dodge some of the damage he potentially could have put down, and take out both supports, and then Zidra rips Quartz off the choke, right? I mean, Quartz is coming back off the spawn, and then Zidra just goes up into the sky, two taps him, so that sets up 1Dip to take the point, which, dude, I feel like that was a must win. If they would end up losing that fight, this was going to be a steamroll.
Yeah, and it does bring them back in. Psycho instantly rips the wall, though, and that's going to put them on point with a very challenging contest. Quartz, 2 big shots here onto Natsuki. The healing torpedoes are enough to stabilize for the moment. Dip finds Quartz, though, with the help of that downpour, and Zidra low, and he's a not dodge every single shot. Okay, he slips away and even turns on Psycho, who teleported in, too greedy for the finish, got booped off the TP by Willis. And despite Twisted Minds grabbing the cap, it seems like 1D100G are maybe going to snag it right back. The tempo that they're bringing with this Hazard comp is looking very strong, and Psycho goes over to the Sombra. Kind of doesn't want to take that smoke over the point. Still in control. Big burst once again from Willis. That's been his calling card with the Hazard. It's just chopping down backliners when they least expect it. And the flip came in, so Twisted Minds, you got to reset quick if you want a chance at this fight. Zidra dies to his own explosive shot, so he won't be there to forward spam the walk up. TM, maybe Psycho has to get an overtime touch. It's not feeling great for them.
Yeah, Psycho goes over to Sombra. So Sombra, another hero who's pretty impactful against compositions like this, and I wonder if he's actually going to play for potential touch here. Looks like going around on a little bit of a flank, maybe just translocate in.
Oh, the invis. Oh, okay, slips away. So he's going to be all right. Who can get the next touch? Somebody else has to. KSA is on point. Okay, he's holding this one down. Big hack into Willis. Maybe mitigates some of his offensive threat. Psycho playing these angles really nicely. And Quartz, a bullet shot would be devastating. No answers right now for 1D100G. Big hack onto the backline. Yoham is not going to live to deploy that orbital ray in this fight. Quartz traded, though. However, Kitsune rush on point. Seems like it's doing too much. Natsuki slips in and takes Funny Astro out of the equation. It's turning into more of a brawl than you would have expected with Twist Minds finding the opener. But 1D100G always finding the kills in the scrap, always deathmatching their way out of this. Just KSA and Simple trying to hold on, and this time they're showing a lot more respect.
Yeah, they're going to back up here just a little bit. You're going to have the shield coming back in for KSA, so he's going to be able to live just a little bit longer, but Simple needs to keep him alive. That's a huge kill there by Simple, taking out Yoham. If you can actually... And, oh, dude, Yoham has the orbital ray. That is brutal there. I mean, that might end up being the point.
That is so rough. Yoham has had Ray for 2 fights and has died first both times. Now KSA wants to end this point before the fight even really begins. Simple peels that Genji off of his Ramatra's back, and I don't see the point to share. Willis is too low. Even Quartz swings that corner. Stack of tires, not enough. And TM just routing aggressively here, going to be cutting off 1D100G before they can even get towards the point. I mean, this is like a blistering pace.
And that looked like a fight that... one dip, well, not a fight, but a point that one dip was most certainly in position to win, and they still are not able to do so. I mean,
those Yoham pickoffs are really brutal, right? The Ray is crucial. Here he's going to pop the Ray, but already now, this time it's Dip's dead. Twisted Minds, they're not backing down whatsoever on the aggression, even in the face of the Ray. They're disrespecting it. KSA comes in with his ulti, and yeah, Willis hacked, can't even slip away. It's just Zidra alive, but yeah, he's just caught all alone, and man, that is a rough fight. Like, instant popping Ray from Yoham. He's like, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm not going to get picked off first. And then Dip is the one who dies. I mean, that's tough, man. TM are just hitting them with the full court press, playing aggro. And now what? Now they have Psycho's EMP. It's really hard to ult first against EMP. Like, despite the ult bank advantage, Twisted Minds, I mean, EMP is just game-breaking here. Yoham has to cleanse this EMP on himself.
And, I mean, you end up having the double support ult on top of the EMP, right? So, it'll be Psycho using it. Yeah, connects the 3, but the beat comes through.
The Ray, though, keeping people alive. Funny Astro's low, needs to stay alive in his own Ray. Blade comes out from Dip, could find a couple kills here and change the story. Has done just that. Now it's only KSA trying to hold this one down. Psycho gets a kill from the grave. KSA running low on the CDs. One last form, but surely he's going to be surrounded and cleaned up. Still, the flip has been held for quite a while. Twisted Minds going to be up towards that 63, 64% on the capture point. And Willis is on the Winston. Very all in with no ultis to support Winston. This is super scary for Winston. I mean, it could be explosive, though. If Dip gets a dash reset, everything can change.
And I am shocked that, Twisted Minds ended up using both support ults there, right? Felt like they had a little bit of a window and opportunity, maybe hold on to one, come back. But still, I guess you get up to 65%. You're not exactly that worried as how are you going to keep Willies alive as, Dip gets extremely low. Finish off, you're going to lose Zydra as well as, I mean, I just don't know if you can play the Winston into this, bud.
Yeah, the hard initiation on Winston is rough into somebody like Freya. Just, like jumps up in the air, starts nuking you. You're playing against Funny Astro Lucio. Good luck ever landing where you want to. I mean, this is rough. Now KSA has the ultimate. Once again, Willis going to be pushed off this angle, forced into a very defensive bubble pop. Psycho grabbing that mega early, making sure that Dip can't recontest. It's kind of an important mega when it comes to the scrap fight off point. And 1D100G, Dip should be able to grab the overtime touch on the Sombra, but this is looking so rough. Yeah, they do get the touch, some damage onto Astro. TP's back to the team. Willis would love to finish that one off and follow up with a kill. Dip getting a little bit of heal back, but Willis is already forced away, already being chased out off the point. KSA with the ultimate wants to end this one here and now. Kitsune Rush has been popped. Willis is low. He's slipping away for the moment, but there's just not enough fuel in the tank. Twisted Minds 3-0, an absolute obliteration on Flashpoint, and the series goes their way as well. This is the team we talked about. This is the team we want to see in playoffs.
I mean, they're the people out there trying to get drops. I mean, this series is.
What you think of the drops, TM? What you think of the people?
I mean, come on, man. You gotta watch hours to get these drops. I mean, what are we doing here? But TM, I mean, that is just. Look, if you don't have the people in mind, this is the type of performance you would do.
Yeah, they did not do that for the people, unless the people have dinner reservations and need to go places. They speak
Dinner. I mean, it's I mean, it's like a late breakfast.
Yeah, actually, it's lunch, right? It's real. It's real. Well, here's the thing, though. Like, that's the kind of domination we would expect to see from Twisted Minds. I think yesterday against VP, even in their mind, was a slip up, right? Like, they expected a 3-0 yesterday already. So today they certainly came in to make a statement. And while 1DipVS100Gorillas was the team that managed to like push everyone, good and bad, to a map 5, that narrative has stopped here.
I think there's also a difference of. Frosttails, for instance, they lose to the Ultimates, and like Frosttails was legitimately like in that series from the start, right? Winning map number 1 and then playing close 3 much throughout. 1Dip was not in this series. There was never a moment.
3 kills on Ilios.
I don't even think we showed the stats. I mean, it was probably not great.
Flashpoint had a couple close moments, but
well, you never got the sense they were gonna like
really
win,
dig in.
Yeah.
No. I mean, they like this is their best point. I think was this one with 57%. I mean, I guess they got a bit on the other point too, but so many pickoffs, so much aggression. It feels like Twisted Minds. I mean, the mechanical level of this team is so high right now. When you have a team that's hitting on this front with like all their players are popping, everyone's finding initially opening kills. Like literally everyone on the team is getting openers, and then they're playing like Zen comps. It is scary to be playing against that. It just feels like you can't play the game. You're just getting deathmatched out of the server.
Yeah, they're greedy and confident, and rightfully so. We actually have KSA joining us for a quick chat after this very, very, very quick series. It will be voice only, so let's bring him in and see if we can hear him. Can he hear us? KSA,
hello?
are you with us?
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, is my mic fine, guys?
Yes, we do.
Just making sure.
Yes, you're perfect.
Okay.
No notes. 10 out of 10. Same as the performance on the server just now. This was a quick one, so let's actually talk about yesterday's series. Was there anything that you guys took away from yesterday's match heading into today's game? Because Psycho did mention yesterday that you guys felt a little disappointed that it wasn't a clean 3-0. Did you feel like you needed to make a statement in today's match?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like looking back at the match yesterday, like maybe Dorado was a little bit close, but we closed it out, thankfully. But Runa Sapi and actually can't even remember the other map. But the other 2 maps after Dorado, we should have won them. To be honest, yeah, it really was a long series.
Yeah, so I just want to, I mean, now really you're looking ahead at playoffs, you're looking ahead at potentially EWC. I mean, there's still a couple more matches to be played, of course, in the regular season, but it seems pretty clear that at the top right now, it's kind of you guys and OWCS. How do you look at that matchup as far as preparing? Are you guys scrimming each other still, or is there any feeling of like, that's the team to beat, you want to just start prepping solely for them? Or are you guys keeping the perspective very open right now?
I think we're keeping it open, but I think OWCS is always like a hard team to play against. It's always like close against them. But yeah, I think mainly just looking at OWCS and VP.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of the tier break here in EMEA. When you look at a potential, rematch with Alcatia down the road, you guys are so close with them the last time, then potentially even further, right? Going to EWC and playing against teams from all over the world. Where do you think there's like one spot your team can kind of improve going forward and give your guys even bigger advantage?
Definitely more flexibility. We've been playing too much Ram, I'd say. Gotta add some more heroes in there other than Ram. Other than that, I think it's fine. But it keeps
The match
working,
is this
so
quick. I mean,
don't fix what ain't
yeah,
broken.
keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to watch you guys play and watch you dominate the server like you did today. You have one more match to go, so best of luck in that one. Thank you so much for taking the time for a quick chat.
Yeah, thank you for having me.